Welcome back. Part 10. We're going to jump right into it. I noticed this chin is not as in as it needs to be, so I'm going to take care of that right quick. And make sure that if you noticed before, you could see the background images, and I selected those so that you can only see them when we're in these particular views. And you do that by going up here. So you activate the image, okay, in object mode. We select the image, and then we come down to our properties panel. We hit object data, and then just select only axis aligned. So if it's not selected, you can keep seeing it. You know, even if you're swirling around, no big deal. If you do select this, then you can only see it when you're inside view, and then when you turn around, you don't see it at all. So it just kind of cleans up our workspace, and we're at the point now where we can, take off some of the training wheels. So I'm going to pop back I'm going to select my head, come back in edit mode, and let me just select 1, 2, 3, flip in a side view, and just pull these back to see how that. Flashes. Bring that down just a scotch and see how that looks. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks all right. Okay. All right, let's dive back into the ear, and then we'll build out this eye. Okay. So we're going to come back and select this ear up here. It's called circle. I'm going to label that ear so we know what it is we're talking about. And I noticed some geometry. See this back here? How it's not quite where it needs to be. Let's pull this out a little bit and thicken this up. Okay, so bring this out, and then we just pull this back. We fatten the back of the ear up, and just pull it out a little bit. There you go. And we kind of melt the ear into the side of the head. Okay, so if you had any extra geometry showing back here, just select the vertices and pull. Okay, and you can have that be, however, if you want. It doesn't need to be that extreme. So we can just Control Z. Let me hit screencast. We can hit Control Z and undo that. Okay, and there's our ear. So now that we have our ear, let's tab into edit mode and add a subdivision surface modifier. So we come over here to our modifier properties, add modifier, subdivision surface, and just like that, the ear has some real shape and form to it. Okay, really kind of looks like an ear a little bit. Okay, so we got an ear. We have something that's starting to look like an ear. So you see how we have two options over here. Catmull Clark. I think this is named for Ed Catmull, the visionary at Pixar. I'm not sure. Internet could definitely fact check me on that. But we're still in object mode. We're gonna hit simple. Okay, and you see how that kind of boxes it a little bit. Right now, our lobe is kind of tiny, and our ear canal is massive. And we want to reverse that. We want to make our ear canal a little bit tinier, and we want to make our lobe thicker, fatter, right? There is kind of a stylized ear, and that's what we're going for. So we're going to tab into edit mode, and then we're going to activate face select up here. You can also hit F, okay? That pops you into face select mode. And then we are going to click and shift select all of these faces on the inside wall of the ear. Okay, go slow and just take your time and select the edge loop of faces of the inside part of the ear. Now I'm going to hit 3 and go into side view. Scale that in a little bit. Okay, that looks good. We're going to leave it like that. Come back into Catmull Clark. Kind of get a rounded out ear. Now we're going to shade the smooth. So we select all of it with A. Right click, shade smooth. There you go. The levels viewport, if you want to add a little bit more smoothness, you can bump this up to 2. Okay, and it just really kind of smooths out that ear. We got a little bit. This is a little sharp right here, so we're gonna need to round that out. Okay, so this actually looks pretty sharp right here. If yours also looks sharp, you might need to pull this out. And to do that, you might want to hide the head. So I'm going to just click the eyeball up here, and that makes the head go bye-bye. And then you can, just kind of squish your mesh however you think it needs to be. So maybe I'm going to grab this and this. Well, actually, I'm going to grab this vertex here and move it along the y-axis and see what that does. Yeah, see, just like that, that kind of rounds it out. Right here. This edge, not the face. There we go. I'm going to grab it along the y-axis. Pull that out a little bit. And then, let's see what we got here. Just to kind of smooth that out a little bit. It was just looking a little sharp. Okay. And now we kind of rounded it out. Did you see how that was kind of jagged? A little too sharp for my tastes. But hey, if you want sharp ears, go get them, man. If that's, that winds you up, go get them. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back like that. I'm going to reactivate this, and now the ear is smoother. Okay, let's kick up here. Not bad. Oh, it needs to be up a little bit, excuse me. So let's make this, let's pull this out. That. Pull this out like that. Okay. Kicking a side view. Let's move this up like that. Move this up like that. And this should be old hat to you by now, right? We're just lining it up. Okay. We want to make this. We know exactly how we need to make this look. And that's exactly what we're doing. Okay. Not too shabby, y'all. Let's kick that right there. Okay. Okay, let's I think we need to let's turn proportional editing on. And then grab and move this up like that. I kick this over in a side view. That I'm okay with. Okay. Yep. Looks good. Okay, let's select all of this and tab over into object mode, and then we're going to add a mirror modifier like that. Okay, so when you add the mirror modifier, if it doesn't line up perfectly, you might need to anchor it onto something. Okay, whatever is center position. So you can see how my cursor is a little off center, and by default it kind of lines it up where your cursor is. So this ear is technically equidistant from this ear, using this as a reference point. But we don't want that. We obviously want it to match up on the other side of the ear relative to the head. So to do that, we come over here. Well, first we want to turn clipping on, okay? We definitely want to make sure clipping's on. And we're going to come over to Mirror Object, click it, select the eyedropper, come over here, just touch the head, and it anchors the ear right onto the head. Okay, so Mirror Object is the head mesh. You could have selected head mesh from the drop down, but I kind of wanted to illustrate the eye dropping onto the head, and now we have our ears in place. Okay, now these ears are still bothering me a little. They just still feel a little sharp right here. Okay, so I'm going to tap back into edit mode. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to select face, this face, this face, and this face, and then I'm just going to move it right in. Oh, excuse me. Escape that. Control Z. Turn off proportional editing, and then just move that right into the ear. Do I want that? Maybe this one. And this one. Move those right there. We go. That kind of widens it out. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Then it just gets rid of that sharp angle right there, and it just kind of adds a nice little fullness, roundness to the ear. Okay, kick into front view. Yep, I'm okay with that. Okay, so now let's select the head mesh. Make sure we have it selected. If it's that dark red, it's not going to work. It needs to be this light orange. And then we're going to pop over into edit mode. And I want this to be in wireframe. So you can either come up here and hit wireframe, or you can hit Z4. And that just pops you in a wireframe. Okay. So first let me hit the subdivision surface. Okay. So what we did before with selecting the inside part of the earlobe, we want to do that with the inside part of the eye. Okay. So with faces selected, we're gonna select the inside layer right here, all the way around. Okay, so shift select. Like that. Okay. So that's what we've selected. All right, now we want to duplicate this with Shift D. That duplicates it. Then, if we move, we want to escape out of that movement, and then we'll hit the P key to create a new object with that selection. So we hit P, and we separate the selection, and now we have a new object right here, and we'll call this eyelash. Okay. Okay, so let's come over into object mode, and we want it to, again, we need it to be the orange, not the red. And let's click over into simple, so we can just kind of have easier access to, call it proper geometry. All right, and then in here. So I'm going to hide the head just for a minute, just because I want to line up these. I want to line up these vertices real quick. So I'm just moving them along the x-axis to try and, just to try and line these up as best I can. Before we start moving them around, you want them to be aligned you want them to be as aligned as possible. Okay? So we'll bring this over And all I'm doing is grabbing them and moving them along the x-axis. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Okay, because I want these, because when we extrude later, if they're not aligned, you're just gonna get a funky extrusion. It's not gonna be as clean as it can be, and that can frustrate. Okay, so now that our vertices are aligned, let's go back into front view, and you can see that even though they're aligned, they aren't technically aligned. So let's bring that down to meet it. Okay. And bring this, what is it? This one might need to drop a little bit. So we'll move that along the z-axis like that. These look okay. This one needs to come down a little bit. Like that. There's a front one. Okay. So maybe bring this one up. Like that. And then bring this one up a little bit as well. Maybe a little over. Like that. Okay, so for the most part, these are aligned. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the closer they are together, the easier your life is going to be when it comes time to extrude. And I know it's a pain in the butt, and it takes a few more minutes, but it's just going to be worth it later on. Okay, so now we have that, let's line up our eyelash. Okay, so I'm going to select both of these and grab them with the G key and bring them in. And then I'm going to select both of these and bring them down. Grab these, bring these up above the eye rapnule. Grab these, bring these down like that. Grab these, get these down like that. And then grab these, get down like that. Okay. And we're building out the eyelash, and you say, well, wait a minute, we need some more geometry. It's like, okay, let's create some more geometry. All right, so I'm going to go to edge select, and then I'm just going to select an edge, doesn't matter which one, and then let's add a loop cut with Control R. Okay, and you might not be able to see that, so let me rotate up and over like that. Okay, so a loop cut, and now you can see I have this the option. This is kind of the phantom option. If I want to cut, then I can cut it. But I want two cuts, so I'm going to roll my middle mouse button. I'm going to roll it one time and add another cut. And right there, I'm going to click that. Now, if I move it like an idiot, and I don't want that, I just escape out of it, and it just goes right back to where it was. So I'm going to tap back into front view, and then I'm going to select my vertices and drag this up like that, and then drag these over like that. Like that, and right, so we're kind of building out the eyelash. Not bad. This might need to come up a tiny bit. Okay, so let's link all of our vertices. All right, and we're going to do that. Just select any one you want to and hit L. And what that does is it takes any piece of geometry that was linked to that individual vertex, all the vertices, all the edges, all the faces, and it links all of them. So now we can do, whatever we need to do with them. And what we need to do with these guys is extrude faces along the normals. And if you did this right, and if your geometry is right, it'll work. And if you didn't, you'll know, because it'll just look wonky. So I'm going to come up here and go faces, extrude faces along normals, and then move up like that. And that's what we're looking for, just like that. Okay, nice, crisp, clean geometry. If yours, like I said, if yours looks just funky if you got some coming up over here and some coming out down here and some coming over like that. Then your vertices probably weren't aligned properly, and you're going to have to rewind this 5-6 minutes. And really, you know, it's worth spending the extra time aligning your geometry. Okay? But if you did do it correctly, then you should see what I'm seeing. And let me check time real quick. We're good on time. Okay, so let's build this shape out. We'll bring this over here a little bit, like that. You know what? Yeah, that's here. I'm gonna bring these down, like that. Bring these up, like that. Bring these up here. Kind of fill that up. Fill that up. That looks good. Let's bring this down a little bit, and we'll create those custom flares in a second. Pull this in, and then pull this in like that. Okay, because we're gonna need 2 eyelash flares, I guess brow flares here. Let's add another loop cut. We want like that. Bring it like that. Bring it down. Maybe rotate it. Yeah, there we go. Get like that going. And then we can bring this out a little bit. Bring this one in a little bit. Bring this one like that. There we go. Looking sharp. This one in like that. And then let's create another loop cut here. Bring that like that. Maybe another one up here like that. And then how we do? We got this. We can bring this up like that. So this is obviously rough. And that's okay. Let's turn everything on and see how it looks. Okay. Not bad. All right. Obviously, it needs to be formed and tailored. But if we kick in a side view, maybe we select all of it, bring it out a little bit. Let's bring it out along the y-axis, like that. Bring it in, bring it out. You can kind of see our lash is going to form. A little bit. Maybe this needs to come out right here. So this one, we can grab it along the y-axis and pop that out like that. This, same thing. Maybe this one like that. Bring it along the y-axis. Okay, all really primitive stuff, and obviously it needs to be touched up, and that's fine because it will be touched up. But for the most part, not bad. All right, here, let's kick this into wireframe mode, and I'm gonna select these guys, and then proportional editing. Let's go to proportional editing smooth. Okay, and we really want to move this back. Bring this in smooth like that. Maybe we scale these in like that. Okay, same thing here. Bring that like that, and then we scale these guys in. Bring them out. Than it needs to be. Okay, well, we'll touch it up. And then let's plug this into, and let's move this back like that. Gonna hide it. let's do the same thing for this side of the head. Let's grab these, turn this on, pop these out. Like that. Maybe not a little bit like that. This out a little bit. This out a little bit. Bring this out a little so that's where it is out a little bit like that. Like that. Turn proportional editing off and come select these guys right here. Like that. Bring these down. Bring this up. In like that, like that. See, a lot of it's eyeballing it, you know. Might look weird, but you'll get it. You'll figure it out. Up a little bit, kind of rotate that. Do you see what we're doing? Take it's kind of that's the jagged shape. We're just giving a little. This one. Let's add another loop cut here. Okay, like that. Maybe scale that. Kind of pull this up. Let's grab this edge, pull that up. Let's grab this edge, pull that up. Really just kind of rounding out the form. Maybe bring this kind of jagged. She's got some eyelashes over there. Just need to come back a little bit. That's fine. Okay. finished the ear and we started the eyelash. In the next video, we will finish the eyelash and start building the eye. So get up, get a stretch, get a bend. Oof. Fix this right here. That's just a little too much. Okay. Right, so let's just grab this. Bring this in. This looks kind of wonky, but we'll take care of that too. Okay. In the meantime, save your work with Control S. Get up, get a stretch, get a bend, and I'll see you in the next one.